So we were studying the group 14. In group 14 there are different elements like carbon, silicon, germanium and tin and lead. Further, the next property that we will take in the group 14 element study is the tendency to form multiple bonding. So group 14 elements in which carbon has a unique property or tendency to form the stable multiple bonds, as you have seen in the alkenes and alkynes. So here carbon forms the multiple bond. Here carbon is forming double bond with another carbon, where here carbon is forming triple bond with the another carbon. So carbon has the property of forming the multiple bond with itself and others first row elements such as nitrogen and oxygen. So here carbon shows the unique tendency of forming multiple bonds with not only with carbon but also with the other elements of other other elements of first row elements such as nitrogen and oxygen. So carbon forms the multiple bond. It also forms the multiple bond with the like sulfur. So this is the in these compound there are p pi bonding. However, silicon and other elements of the group have vacant d orbital in their valence shell. As a result, silicon can form p pi double bond with elements like oxygen and nitrogen. So silicon, the electronic configuration of silicon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. Further, it has vacant d orbitals in the form of 3d orbitals. So it has a tendency to form the d pi p pi multiple bonding with the other elements, whereas carbon has a tendency of forming p pi multiple bonds, because carbon doesn't have vacant d orbitals or filled d orbitals. It has electronic configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So there are, in case of second shell, there are no d orbitals are present. So as a result, silicon can form d pi p pi double bond with elements like oxygen and nitrogen due to the availability of vacant d orbitals in its outermost shell. So this bond is formed by the donation of electron pair from filled 2p orbital of nitrogen or atom to the vacant 3d orbital of silicon. It is called back bonding. So it is called back bonding. You have listened the term back bonding in boron trihalides also. There was boron trifluoride in which there was back bonding. So silicon have vacant d orbital, as d orbital are dx, y, yz and zx. Here silicon forms the, this is the filled orbital of nitrogen. It forms the bond with the this nitrogen filled orbital of nitrogen form the bond with the vacant d orbitals, and this is called back bondings. So presence of this d pi p pi bond helps to explain the bonding in trimethyl amine and tricylyl amine. So you can be asked in the exam that explain why trimethylamine is planar, whereas tricylamine, that is NSICH3 thrice, is, sorry, this trimethylamine is pyramidal, and why tricylamine is planar. So you can be asked this question in the exam, why this is pyramidal and why this is planar, whereas in both cases this is the nitrogen atom, which is central atom, and hybridization in this case is the sp3, whereas here it is the sp2. So now I will explain why this trimethylamine is pyramidal whereas tricylamine is planar. So the compound trimethylamine and tricyclylamine have different structures, like trimethylamine and tricyclylamine have different structure. In trimethylamine, the nitrogen atom involves here. First of all, I will discuss it. In case of it, nitrogen atom has sp3 hybridization, having one lone pair in one of its tetrahedral position. The geometry is regarded as pyramidal. So its geometry is pyramidal. Here nitrogen possesses one lone pair of electron. Further, in tricyclylamine, sp2 hybridization takes. So in case of tricyclylamine, there is sp2 hybridization takes place and the molecule has a trigonal planar structure. Trigonal planar structure. So the molecule has trigonal planar structure. The lone pair is present in unhybridized p orbital. So what happens here? First of all, let's write the electronic configuration of nitrogen. It is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p3. So there are total 3 electrons in ground state, and in excited state there is again 2 electrons in 2s orbital, and 1, 2 and 3 electrons are in 2p orbital. So hybridization here is sp3. So sp3 hybridization here involves 3 electrons in the this sp3 hybridization means 1 s orbital plus 3 p orbitals are undergoing to give a set of orbitals which are equivalent in energy and shape. So after the hybridization happens, we can't differentiate between what are s orbital and which is the p orbital. The resulting orbitals are equivalent in energy and shape. So let me write in this manner. So these are the sp3 hybrid orbital. Total there are 4 orbitals, 3 p orbitals, 1, 2, 3 and 1 s orbital. 1, 2, 3 and 4 orbitals. Further there are 3 electrons plus 2 electron pair. This electron pair comes here and these 3 orbital electrons comes here. Now what happens? 3 methyl groups joins at this 3 position. So this is the structure of trimethylamine. This is the pyramidal structure. Whereas in case of tricyclylamine, the hybridization is sp2. It means only 1s and 2p orbitals are involved in the hybridization, and sp2 hybridization always result in the trigonal planar structure. So sp2 hybridization result in the trigonal planar structure. The lone pair is present in the unhybridized p orbital. So the lone pair of the electron reside in the any of these p orbitals, because one s orbital and 2 p orbitals are involved in the hybridization. So this overlap with the empty d orbital on each of the 3 silicon atom and result in the back p pi d pi bonding. So it simply means that there are 3 sp orbitals, 1, 2, 3 and 1 p unhybridized p orbital having a lone pair of electron. So this unhybridized p orbital overlaps with the silicon because there is a silicon here carbon. So with the empty vacant d orbitals of silicons, and this forms the p pi d pi back bonding. Back p pi d pi bonding. Since the lone pair of nitrogen is involved in back bonding with vacant d orbitals of silicon, nitrogen has no longer a lone pair of electrons. As a result, the molecule does not have donor properties. Its structure is planar. Such a type of p pi d pi bonding cannot occur in trimethylamine here due to non-availability of d orbitals. So its structure is planar. Whose tricyclylamine. So due to, you can write due to p pi d pi back bonding structure of triacyl amine is planar, whereas structure of trimethylamine is pyramidal due to the sp3 due to it doesn't have the backend d orbitals. So this is the question which often comes in the exam, that why this structure is planar and other structure is the pyramidals. So next question comes into the mind is about silicon dioxide, that we can be asked that CO2 is linear and whereas silicon dioxide is network structure. Why? So CO2 is a linear molecule, but silicon dioxide consists of continuous lattice of silicon and oxygen connected by the covalent bonds. CO2 is like this and silicon dioxide is sorry, it will come here. So this is the network structure in case of silicon dioxide. So in this structure, this network structure, each silicon atom is tetrahedrally surrounded by 4 oxygen atom, as this silicon 1 2 3 4, this silicon 1 2 3 4, this silicon 1 2 3 and 4th oxygen is here. Carbon atom has a small size and forms stable multiple covalent bond because of the close interaction between the 2 p orbitals of carbon and 2 p orbitals of the oxygen. So electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2 2s2 2p2, and for oxygen it is 1s2 2s2 2p4. So here in case of carbon dioxide, bonding between carbon and oxygen involves the same sized orbitals of carbon and oxygen, that is both have 2p and 2p orbital. So this result in the formation of stable multiple bonding. So it can easily overlap. However, silicon has large size and on the 3p orbital of silicon do not overlap effectively with the oxygen. Silicon electronic configuration of silicon is 1s2, 2 atomic number is 14, 1s2 2s2 p6, 3s2 and 3p. What is 3p? It is 3p4. Okay, 3p2. So here in case of silicon dioxide, silicon and oxygens have 2p orbital, whereas silicon has 3p orbital. So there is the size mismatch between the oxygen and silicon. So due to gap in the size, the overlap between the silicon and oxygen is not so much effective. So due to this ineffective overlap, there is not a stable multiple bonding. So therefore silicon oxygen bond or silicon oxygen double bond is not formed. This bond is not formed. Why? Because there is a difference between the sizes of the 2p orbital and 3p orbital of oxygen and silicon respectively, whereas carbon and oxygen have similar size outer orbitals, that is 2p orbitals, which result in the effective overlap of these orbitals and which further result in the formation of carbon oxygen multiple bond. So the tetravalency of silicon is satisfied by the formation of silicon oxygen bonds which result in the network structure. So moreover, as carbon is tetravalent, that is carbon forms the 4 bond here, 1 2 3 4, and in case of methane you can see there are 4 carbon hydrogen bonds. Similarly silicon has also have the tetravalency, that is it also form the 4 bond, but it doesn't form the it does not form the structure like CO2. This structure, it doesn't form this such a structure. So how does it satisfy its valency of 4? It satisfy its valency of 4 by forming the network structure here, 1 2 3 4, here 1 2 3 4. So silicon also forms a 4 bond, but it forms a 4 bond with oxygen in a network structure, where carbon forms the 4 bond with oxygen by a multiple bonding due to the same size of the 2p orbitals, whereas silicon oxygen has difference in the sizes. So you can be asked in the exam such a question. There is also question that why there is enough space. So I will proceed here, that CCl4 cannot be hydrolyzed, that is CCl4 does not reacts with the water, whereas SiCl4 can be easily hydrolyzed. There is the reaction between the SiCl4 and water. It results in the formation of SiOH4. So why this happen, whereas both elements belong to the same group? So I will explain it. This can be easily explained on the absence of d orbital in the valence shell of carbon. So if you have been asked any type of question, first of all try to explain your answer with the help of electronic configuration, as most of the answers are given by the electronic configuration, if you have basic knowledge of the electronic configuration. So again there is the electronic configuration. In case of silicon there are vacant d orbitals, whereas in case of carbon there are no vacant d orbitals. There are no vacant d orbitals in case of carbon. So carbon has only s and p orbitals. As a result, carbon cannot increase its coordination number beyond 4. Therefore it cannot accept electron from water molecules. On the other hand, SiCl4 is readily hydrolyzed by water because silicon has vacant 3 orbital in its outermost shell. As a result, silicon extends its coordination number beyond 4. The vacant 3d orbitals of silicon accept electrons from water, and SiCl4 can be hydrolyzed easily. So due to the vacant d orbital, they can accommodate the electrons from the water molecule, and which will result in the formation of silicon, which result in the formation of silicic acid. Further, next class of compound is the carbides. These are also carbides. What are carbides? Carbon combined with the many electropositive elements when heated to high temperature to form the carbides. So what are carbides? Carbide are the compound of carbon with more electropositive elements than carbon. What does it mean? It means that carbon forms the, if other elements will be more electropositive than the carbon, suppose it is M, then what will happen? It will be electropositive, so carbon will be more electronegative as compared to this metal. As this is electropositive, so carbon will behave as a electron withdrawing group here. So this is the quality of these compounds. Here carbon will have partial negative charge and partial positive charge reside on the other electropositive element. So carbides can be classified as salt-like carbide, covalent carbide, and interstitial carbides. Salt-like carbides, these are the carbides of group 1, 2 and 3rd metals. These form the salt like carbides. Whereas what are covalent carbides? Covalent carbides are these are the carbide contain carbon covalently bonded with the element which have same electronegativity as a carbon. And last are the interstitial carbides. So what is the utility of carbides? Carbides are very much helpful in the formation of hydrocarbons, as when you will hydrolyze the calcium carbide, this is very famous reaction. When it will be hydrolyzed with two molecules of water, it will form the acetylene, that is C2H2 plus calcium hydroxide. When calcium carbide is heated in an electric furnace with atmospheric nitrogen at 1100 degrees Celsius, calcium cyanamide is formed. This is an important reaction because it is one method for the fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Further is the silicon carbide. So silicon carbide, what is silicon carbide? It is these are the carbides of carbon, whereas silicon carbide means silicon plus carbon. This is silicon carbide, and structure, it has three-dimensional structure like silicon oxide. So here again, in place of oxygen, here will be carbon. Sorry, here will be silicon carbon, there will be no oxygen. Structure of it will be like that: silicon carbon, silicon carbon, silicon carbon, silicon carbon, silicon carbon, silicon carbon, silicon carbon. So it forms the three-dimensional silicon carbide. So these are the silicon carbides. Further, what is the next topic? Next topic is the group 15 elements. And what does group 15 include? Group 15 includes nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, and antimony and bismuth. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. And outer electronic configuration here is P3, that is for nitrogen 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Similarly for phosphorus it is 3p3, for arsenic it is 4p3, and so on. So first of all, their physical properties, like atomic radii, the similar trend is observed as in all other elements. Downward the group it increases, and along the period it decreases. So you have to compare it, atomic rate, trend of the atomic. Keep it in always mind that you are not supposed to remember the values. As you will go in the book, there are tables, lots of table, and there are different values are given. There is no need to remember those values. You have to just follow the trend. What is the trend and what are the exceptions? Why exception is coming? This is generally due to electronic configuration, and why it is showing the high ionization energy 1 or 2 or 3, or why it is showing 2, 3 or 4 oxidation states. So these are all you have to given the reasons behind it. You are not supposed to give their values, so don't go after the values. Further, they show metallic character, catenation. These are the different properties shown by the p block elements. And next are their allotropic forms and other properties, particular specific properties that we will study tomorrow.